What's going on, world? So this video is entitled "Why I Started YouTube," and I remember the first video I did, and since I've started YouTube, I probably did. I know I did over 1,000 videos. That's what the count says, and didn't know what I was doing. And I remember I was looking at my. I think I did. I had a flip cam, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do a video, and the lighting was bad, and I did a video on a current event, and I don't even know why I did it, to be honest. But when I did it, I was like, okay, it was kind of like that step of, you have the idea and you say, okay, let's just do something. And I did it. But then I was like, wow, I did it. And I didn't get many views. The next day I looked at it because, when you first start something, you look at it like 200 times a day. I think I got like 1 or 3 views. Didn't know anything about SEO or whatever. So then what I did was I did a second video. And what's so funny, I did my second video, which was called How to Find Your Passion Now. How to Find Your Passion. And I wrote a book called How to Find Your Passion Now, which really I wasn't supposed to write the book. I was supposed to be writing a business book, but somehow it turned into that. But I think that there are no accidents in life. What happens when you step out on faith and you try to do something, the universe helps you, right? But the biggest thing was I couldn't talk to nobody. And I want you to pay attention to this piece. I opened YouTube for therapy because I always looked at myself as the weird guy, the overanalyzer, the guy that always is questioning everything that is in front of them, the guy that wants to know why people are laughing, why people are angry right there. Because I've learned in life that you don't do any action unless there's a reason. If I walked up from this camera right now and left, you would be thinking to yourself, why did he get up and leave? But if I came back to the camera and let's say this was live and somebody said, why did you go? And you say, and I say, you know what, I really don't know why. Then you guys would probably say something like, has this guy been smoking this morning? He's been doing cocaine or something? Like, who says that? And if you don't believe me, anything that a person is doing that is like if they get up and from a couch and you're sitting there and you say, hey, why didn't you just get up? I say, oh, I'm going to grab some water. I'm going to grab something, whatever, or I'm going to do something. I'm going to use the restroom. But if they told you, I don't know why I got up, they're lying. So what I'm trying to say is that I would sit in circles where my conversation was considered weird. So what happened was I became silent. I kept all that information in. But information that you have in must get out. If it doesn't get out in the form of words or vlogging, it can do damage. Everybody has a voice. But some people don't want to hear that voice. I can say this now, and I know some of you guys can relate to me. Most of my friends are online. One of my best friends lives in California. And yet I've been to visit him before. We went to China before, and I talk to him regularly. But he lives in California, right? Because you can't help who you are, but a lot of us are surrounded in the masses where people think the conversation has to be on such a simple level. And anybody that talks about out-of-the-box things is somehow bad. And you can feel like a misfit in the world. So when I actually started the YouTube and was just basically releasing the thoughts that's been inside of me for so long, I found out there were a lot of people that can relate to those thoughts. A lot of people that can relate to my situation because they find themselves in that same situation where they're silenced and they can't really speak their mind. Maybe they've read something of value in a book and they want to share it, but they can't because the other person doesn't want to hear it. But when you go into certain crowds, they love it. They embrace it. But then those are your people. And that's why we have levels. And I'm not saying this level is better than this level. But the thing is, most people who have very little can tell you which levels is correct. Even though they don't have any proof themselves because it hasn't worked for them, but they can tell you which one is correct. It's kind of like the concept of the people that do the least expect the most. We're surrounded by that type of thinking because it's a majority of people, right? And that's why I've said that 1% of the people control most of the wealth in the world today. Most of them control most of the wealth. Most of the wealth today. And some people say it's corrupt. It's not. It's their thinking. It's the mindset. You are what you read. You are what you consume. And you should be consuming information daily. But when you're in a dumbed down situation where people want you to remain that way, you gotta bust the lid. Because you can't grow staying here. And if you're not putting habits and steps in your life to grow, you could be setting yourself up for failure, people. So I basically started YouTube from keeping myself from going insane. I've seen that some authors wake up mumbling words. Words are inside of them. And then they went on to become great writers, bestsellers, you know it, whatever it is. But whatever thing's inside of you, get it out. Because I promise you there's an audience for you, but the audience that you are surrounded by may not be the audience. And if you look at a lot of stories of successful people, all of them were in similar situations, surrounded by people where they couldn't say their ideas to each other. They couldn't express their ideas because they were considered insane. It reminds me of the story, and I'll end it here, where Einstein was told by his instructors that one instructor told Einstein, and I may not be saying it correctly, but he said that you're one of the dumbest people I've ever seen in my life. And we know Einstein today for his brilliance. So my question is, what was that teacher measuring Einstein's intelligence by? Was it by the mass model? That you sit down and you be a good student and you listen, you take notes. But some people who embody knowledge, that it moves through them. It gets them animated. They have to move. That's why you see some people who walk and talk on a cell phone. Movement and things, everybody wasn't meant to be the same. Witches were killed back in the days because they were different. When really probably all they were just Gothic people. Those people exist today, right? Sometimes people just need a platform to express themselves. So that's why, people, that's why I went down this road of entrepreneurship. That's why I went down this road of online. And any platform that comes up, I'll just talk until this voice doesn't work anymore. So that's all I have to say, good people. Thank you. And just wanted to share that with you. And in the comment box, tell me why you started your YouTube or why you're thinking about starting a YouTube. And then also, I have a course on YouTube of how to really start it because I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. So I'm going to drop the link there. So with that said, good people, thank you. And I will see you on the flip side.